Welcome. We're getting ready to start it. I'm Don Runge, and the Insure WebEx program today is featuring working on direct mail leads effectively. We're going to have a power pack the next 25-35 minutes, and we'll have a time for some questions as we go through the program. I would think that a couple things are going to happen today. One, I think you know a little bit more about how to work direct mail leads, whether they're old or new. We hear that term all the time. But before we start on that, let me just get a little background about myself, just in case you have or may not heard of me. I've been at the business now a little over 49 years. I think the main thing is that looking and working, you'll see I'm a family man. I have 6 grandchildren. I have 2 daughters and a son. We live in Plano, Texas. We've been here since 1974. And I started my insurance career in Chicago, and I moved to Dallas, Texas back in 1974. Obviously, I think as people go on, as you go over and are in a business a long enough time, you find out that most things are about what you thought they were a long time ago. So we're gonna have some fun today. I think the main things that we're gonna talk about today, this program today will be recorded. It'll be emailed to each of you in the next several days. So I know we get asked that question a lot. Just as more of a background for you, the background I have has been a lot in the senior market. Even though I started selling in the college market, life insurance, the marketplace itself has really been when I'm working with the companies like Bankers Life and Casualty, American Republic, Liberty National Life. You can talk about American Income, American Republic, as I mentioned to you, Kemper Insurance Group. And you can look at that as far as you want to go back and take a look at our website as we go through that. I would think that the biggest thing also that I think you can go back once you get done with this, if you want to get perused around and get more information, is take a look at our website, leadguru.com. We have a variety of products and services we can offer you. We even talk about pre-licensing for those people that need it. We do continuing education, and we do some workshops, seminars, consulting, etc. So enough said for that part of the program. What I'd like you to do now is there's a special offer at the end. We're going to talk more about the special offer. The special offer has 48 hours to take advantage of a special price that we've been able to put together for you because of the WebEx. The offer is going to be geared to an advanced approach. It's really a really good idea for people that want to get more mileage out of being in the home and getting more leads out of the house once you get in. And as a bonus, we're going to include a program just strictly set on how to work direct mail leads. And so the direct mail lead program, which is what we're talking about today, that incorporates it, and you get a bonus program today. So you'll see the price is $69.95. So let's get started. What's a direct mail lead? That seems like a funny thing to talk about and get started to say to you. Direct mail lead, I know a lot of people think it's a piece of paper, it's a sale, we really got to look at that and define what it really is. And really what it is an excuse. It's a mail excuse to start a conversation with somebody, recognizing they may have no idea why they sent the card in. So we got to get that in our mind. We have the right mindset. We have to have in our heads that you can't make up what you think the lead is. You have to accept it for what it is. Too many times we buy direct mail leads and we think they're going to do all the work for us. We really have to get together and decide in our minds that what you really have is a background on how this lead's comprised. And I want to give you a quick overview about that. But a direct mail lead is built by going to a database, by looking at some target type information like general income, like they call median income, household income, in fact. You look at age, you look at income, you look at marital status, you look at zip codes, you look at algorithms. All that stuff is built in. When that lead vendor decides to build that piece of paper and send it out to people, they're going to try to figure out some buzzword, some power phrase within that lead that's going to get people's attention to want to send a card back. Now, years ago, before all the marketing restrictions and advertising restrictions, that used to get 10, 15, 20, 25% returns. That's unheard of. If you get back 1 to 2% today, you're doing great, depending on the lead and how it's structured. Now, that still leaves us with a bunch of other leads, 900 and some leads, that if you work them correctly, they've already been mailed also. We call those late responders, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But how is it built? It's built for the customer, not built for the agent. So let's really go back over what I just said. A direct mail lead is to entice or get the interest of a consumer, not necessarily looking to say you like the lead. Too many times agents judge the lead by whether they like it or not. And since you're not responding, it has no bearing on it. And so really have that clear in mind. It's for the customer. If the customer Go now, when you fish, the worm is for the fish, not for you to bite on. The direct mail lead is designed with the consumer in mind. And there's a lot of psychology that goes behind it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So remember, when that card comes back, that person most of the time, remember, is not going to remember they even sent the card in. So you got to start with the right mindset. The wrong mindset is you think a lead's a sale. A direct mail lead is not a sale. There's no indication they want to buy anything. It's an invitation to create an excuse for somebody to mail it back. And then when they mail it back, they don't know what to really expect. So this is where all of it starts. Excuse me, pardon me. I'm going to look at the water. So remember in mind, keep focused here very carefully that the lead is designed for a different audience and you're not the audience. That's highly important for you to keep in mind as we go through this. So what's the lifespan of a direct mail lead? I heard people say, hey, I worked that lead, it didn't work out, they weren't home, so I threw the lead away, or I put it in my car, or I put it back in my file. That lead, as long as the person is alive, as long as somebody lives at that address, I'm here to tell you that expectancy could be years. You might say, well, that's kind of silly, Don. No, it's not. Remember, first of all, the person most of the time doesn't remember sending the card in anyway. And I'm going to show you some techniques that'll help you get appointments on leads that can be 6 months old, 6 years old, 10 years old if they're still alive. There's techniques that will work to make that lead become fresh again, as they use the expression. And again, I shouldn't even use that word because you're going to start asking me, where's the fresh leads? Well, they're in a bakery right now. Nobody's really bought them. Get away from those terms, and I apologize for you bringing that term back up. So leads are not fresh. What leads are excuses to start conversations. Keep that in mind, please. Now, what are the how-tos of working a direct mail lead? That's why you came here today. First of all, the mindset we've been talking about. You must create the correct mindset. You must say to yourself, look, once the ball is hit, if I'm a fielder, my job is to catch the ball. The pitcher's job is to pitch the ball. So the pitcher's job is not to make sure the hitter hits the ball. All that's got to be straightened out. So once you can embrace that type of thought process, the world of working direct mail leads becomes fun, it becomes profitable, and you're going to order leads over and over again because you're going to make money working those direct mail leads. I'll bet you somebody in this audience has said before, I got to find a new lead vendor. The lead vendor wasn't very good. The lead card wasn't very good. The copy wasn't very good. All of a sudden, we become analysts. We're not even sure what went in the background of developing that one card. A lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of hard sweat. And remember, consumers are very unpredictable. So we're unpredictable. Our mood that day might not be a good mood to work the lead. You might have had a bad week so far, and you're praying that this one direct mail lead card I got is going to save my week. So you have to be careful of that. We've all been guilty of it. We've all been guilty of it. What I'd like now is to talk about assume the person sending the card. Make this start. Assume the person sending the card back is not interested in insurance. Just make that assumption. I personally don't care if they check off a box about Medicare or life insurance or final expense. We did a program here at JCPenney Life when I worked for them years ago. Agents would complain all the time that there are not enough product offerings in the lead. Now remember, the more you talk about product, the less cards you're going to get back. So if you mention 4 or 5 products, your chance of getting any back are slim. Now, number one, remember, if you put 4 down, they're probably going to check all 4 boxes. They're not in the insurance buying academy. They don't go to get trained to try to figure out why they sent that direct mail lead card in or what it really means. They forget about it. It could be 5 or 6 weeks before the card ever gets back to you and you get back to them. So just have in your mindset, if they say to you, I don't remember sending the card back in. Okay, good. That's right. Say, that's the reason I'm calling. I didn't remember sending the card back in. That's the reason I'm calling. Don't try to say, oh, we sent it out 2 weeks ago. It was green and blue. You checked the box off about Medicare. They're going to say, look, I don't think I did that. I'm sorry. I'm not interested. That's called ready, fire, blow your foot off, blame the gun. You got to be careful what you do with the lead. Now, another point. Don't try to pre-qualify them. I'm going to lose half the audience right now. Really, don't try to pre-qualify them. What that means is don't try to sell insurance over the telephone unless you have a telemarketing application. The more questions you ask about them, their health, all that, the fewer positive results you're going to get. Remember, you're catching this person off guard. They don't expect anybody to call them. And when you call them, if you start probing like you're a doctor, they're not going to be interested. It's going to turn them off. Now, I know you can get an appointment sometime, but you're wasting a lot of money, a lot of energy, and you're really not taking full advantage of the leads. So don't try to pre-qualify them. Because remember, till we cross the doorstep, we're not qualified even to talk to them. So remember the game going on. You're not qualified to get in, and they're not qualified for you to get out. So just be real careful when you're doing this. Be careful. And you'll say, well, I've been at this a long time. Don, it has nothing to do with tenure. It's what the current environment is, especially working in the senior market. They don't like surprises. They don't like people who assume they've done something, and they don't like a pushy salesperson. So just remember the strategy, the psychology, and the marketplace you're working when you're trying to work this type of lead. Also, as we talked about before, as you go through this, keep in mind that you need to control this conversation. And it's going to be hard to control the conversation when you're talking. So when you're asking questions, you're going to find it a lot easier to control the conversation. You become the expert. So the person talking becomes the expert. Back up. The person talking is the amateur. The person asking the questions is the expert. Via example, lawyers, doctors, any professional. So keep the conversation short, to the point, and don't get into an insurance conversation. Unless you work in the MA market where they have to send a card back and know what they did. That might be the only exception to that. But we're not talking about the MA market. We're just talking about working direct mail leads in general. Let's put that aside. MAs, let's look at that separately. Now, as you go through again, you need to be proactive with your approaches. What do I mean by that? If you think the consumer is going to remember the card and start the conversation, you're in trouble. You have to again pretend, I don't remember the card, I'm not interested in anything, I don't know how it got in your hands, and why are you calling me? So be prepared for that type of conversation. Be aggressive in the sense of be ready to communicate early on. And I'll go through some sample approaches. But you want to be more proactive than reactive. Reactive means, well, you got the card, so this person should be ready for my call. They should know what they want to buy. They should know their conditions, and they should be waiting for me. Well, that's way out of the line. We're losing ourselves right here. It's not going to happen. Not, well, I say that. It might probably won't happen if we get done today. One person will do that, and you'll think everybody will do it. Now, I use what I call a takeaway approach. When you call them up, and by the way, direct mail leads are not designed to be called on the telephone. I hate to break everybody's train of thought here. They're designed to be worked in person. I didn't say you can't work them on the phone, but on the phone, the temptation is to start to get into qualify and product, and that turns everybody almost off. So let's just assume that you are going to go ahead and use the telephone. So when your takeaway means when you call them, just call them to verify. We used to say, when we call them, I'm just calling to verify. You did not send this card in requesting this information. You think that's crazy. Because the first thing you do when you call them, they're going to tell you, I didn't send the card in. So you're going to hear that objection or response real quick. So take it away from them. If you're making a door knock, take it away from them. When you take things away, it creates value and interest. Just keep that thought in mind if you would. As you're going with another approach called a courtesy call. I'm just calling to make sure you got this card. I'm just calling to do this. I'm just calling to check if this happened. Or I'm just dropping by to make sure that this took place. Takeaway and courtesy approaches are very, very effective. As opposed to, hi, Mr. Jones, you sent this card and I want to know what you want to buy. You checked off Medicare supplement. Here's my rate. That is not a good approach for the majority of leads that you're going to work in a direct mail business. I know agents like to do that. I say, well, they sent the card and they must know. How many cards did you send away for things that you don't remember? It's hard to remember what you did yesterday, let alone 5 weeks ago and 6 weeks ago. You got to give them some credit. Life goes on. We're not the only card that they would have received. It's not the only piece of mail. My being a senior, I get mail every day at the mailbox. My wife, Maria, will always say, check the mail today. It's going to be a bunch of junk. We'll have magazines. We'll have cards. You get all kinds of stuff in the mailbox. And I might have the one thing I'm looking for, a gas bill or something. So when people get into that mode, they really, when you do things that are different, they respond. So a takeaway approach or a courtesy call approach, as I call it, Those are good because anytime you can call somebody and apologize or just tell them I'm just making a courtesy call, they're more prone to listen to you as you go through this. Just little tips. Then there's the apology approach. Which goes, I'm sorry I'm stopping by, but we're an old-fashioned company. I just wanted to stop by and introduce myself. And then you move in. I'm just calling, Mr. Jones. I want to apologize. A little bit late getting back to you. Sorry I didn't get a chance to talk to you over the last 2 weeks, but we've been extremely busy. Those are examples of apology approaches. That doesn't cause a person to stiffen up and start to think, I got to reject this call. I got to hang up. I got to start throwing out spontaneous responses that don't make any sense at all. That is where you start to get some of this fury from people. And that's where you start to get soured working direct mail leads because you were expecting somebody to say, oh man, I'm glad you called. I've been waiting for you. I sent that card out. I didn't think anybody was ever going to call so I could buy. You've got to get out of that framework. You got to get your mind away from that. It's a false thought. And when you put more of those thoughts in your head and repeat it several times, you start to believe that's what really should happen. And I'll bet you some of you, and myself included, have probably called a direct mail company at one time in your career and said, your leads are bad. They didn't remember one card. In fact, they didn't even say they sent the card back in, and they never signed the card. What kind of junk leads do you have? I want my money back. Now, that might be an extreme, but I'll bet you if we had a chance to talk, some of you have done that. Because it's easy to pick on the lead company. It's easy to pick on the lead. It's hard to pick on ourselves. It's hard to look in the mirror and say, am I approaching these people correctly? Am I using the right approaches, the right scripts? Or am I just guessing at what I'm supposed to do and hope the audience can help me out? I got news for you. Most customers, especially in the senior market, aren't able to help you out. They're not going to be, I know you're a new agent. Let me help you out. Yeah, I did send the card in. Yeah, I did remember the card. Yeah, I did sign the card. And yes, I want to buy it. I'm healthy. And here's my check. Not going to happen. So you have to get the right mindset when you develop that. Now, what I'd like to do, just as we're here, is stop for a second and maybe answer some of the questions. I think some of you have been texting some questions in or sending them back in. And if you've got some, and I can pull them up on the screen, I can go through and answer some of those questions now in 3 or 4 minutes, and then whatever ones I don't get to, I can kind of answer at the end, and I'll take the questions at the end and try to answer some of them or follow back up with a phone call or an email to you all. But I'm not seeing too many questions in here right now. We're trying to get them loaded here and take a real quick look. I don't see any questions right now. No. Okay, maybe I'm solving all your questions. Maybe I've got them all handled already. So if you don't have them, you want to text them in real fast, go ahead or email them in. I'll be glad to try to answer them right away. Why only 15 minute? Why only a 15 return? Deborah, I'm not sure what you mean by only a 15-minute return or 15 return. If you're talking response rates, you're not going to get more than 1 or 2% response rate. I'm not sure if you're talking about response rate on this or something else. I'm not sure how to answer that question. It just says, oh, why only a 15 return? So I'm not sure how to answer that. Maybe you can retype it for me or whatever, send it back. Anybody else has one where I can stop and answer it right now? Annette Roy. What should you do when no one answers? Well, that's a good one. Leave a message. Many people don't answer the phones anymore. I personally am never good at leaving messages, especially to somebody who didn't expect to even get a call from a card. The reason that I don't is because, again, my job is to catch you home. I might call you in the morning, might call you in the afternoon. The only message I've ever seen some people leave say, please call me regarding the card you sent back, Don, and leave a phone number. That works sometimes. What do you do? What do you do really old leads like 5 years old? All right, I'll give you an idea on that, Steve. We're going to cover it a little bit more as I get to it, but real simple. Just apologize that you're a little bit late getting back to them. Now, that may sound silly, but people don't remember when they sent that card back in because they send cards in on a regular basis. Over the years, there's about 8 million pieces of mail going out to seniors on a weekly, monthly basis. They could send cards back 4 and 5 times. They wouldn't remember when they sent the card in 2 weeks ago. So don't let that bother you. 1% return from lead company. Deborah, the reason it's a 1% and a 2% is because today, with all the restrictions, all the compliance issues, all the things you have to put on a lead card to satisfy all the law changes, restricts the pull of the leads. So it's down to 1 to 2%. And some of the highest pulling leads are the Medicare supplement leads. If you do life insurance, it's under 1% most of the time, unless you're using a purely generic lead that may be illegal. So I can't go there. So that's why the lead pulls are going down, because of the volume of mail, but more because of the compliance issues when you have to develop the copy, because you got to tell an agent's going to call, you got to disclaimer your company. There's all kind of restrictions you have to put in as a direct mail lead person today. All right. How would I get a higher pull? Sometimes you can use a value added proposition at the end of the lead card. You can say, and also make sure you ask us about our no cost prescription card or our no cost hearing program. And we have a program right now. I do a lot of training on using what I call value added non-insurance products to increase the draw of the lead, because people are always interested in a free prescription card or a hearing card or a discount on hearing or vision. Those are things that we're working on now that we've had some good success with, so you can always give me a call and follow up. What is best? Postcards for the complex mailers. They got snap apart forms, they got the pull apart forms, they've got window envelopes, they have a series of different techniques. The big thing is mail on a regular basis and change the card format, not the message. A good lead company or a lead vendor will know how to do this, like Target Leads, people like that. They are really good at changing the copy, changing the format, changing what was mailed in, either a snap apart form, a 3x5 card, could be a window envelope mailer, could be a pull apart form. They know how to do this and how often to do that. Should you buy exclusive leads, shared leads, or age leads? I don't know, that's a lot of leads. I think the key thing you want to do is make sure any list vendor you're going to work with doesn't mail the same lead in the same zip code for a period of time, 30 or 60 days. They call it lockout. And you can work with any lead vendor to do that for you. I don't have a problem working shared leads. You know, it makes any difference, man. It's whoever gets to that lead first is going to make the difference anyway. One last question for Jerry. I left you a message on the first call. Would you leave a message again or subsequent? Again, Jerry, I don't leave messages. Some people are very effective at that. I'm going to call you, and if I can't reach you, I'm going to the door. Okay, let's go ahead and get back on schedule. And those questions I can't get to now, I'll try to do at the end or follow back up by email with you guys when this is over. Okay, so direct mail scripts. This is important. And I believe in simple 2 or 3 sentence scripts. You get much longer, what you do is inviting objections. Remember, when you make your call or you're at the door, you got about 30 to 45 seconds to get my attention and keep it. If you make the phone call a conversation, you're in trouble, because you'll be on it for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes and nothing's going to happen. They'll get confused, and then they'll say after 3 or 4 minutes, you know, I really like you, Don. You know what? I'm really happy right now, and give me a call back sometime, and I'm really interested in maybe work with you. You get the push off. You get the, hey, you've been on the phone too long, or you've been at the door too long. You should have a sense of urgency. It's like going to a doctor. They don't give you 2 hours to sit down and talk about things. It's, let's get into the warm-up. How you doing? How you feeling? What's your head look like? Let's go. You got to move forward in this. The longer you talk, the more objections you will get. So when you're working direct mail, one of the greatest things I've done over my 49 years is, I got to tell you, this thing that's on the screen now, what did you have in mind when you sent this response card back? That is the most powerful, effective phrase you're ever going to want to know about. It's the strongest thing I can give you. So you got to tell me who you are. Hi, I'm Don Runge. I'm with XYZ Insurance Company or Agency. Mr. Jones, the reason I'm calling, I want to know what you had in mind when you sent this card back that I have. Now, first of all, remember, I have the card, they don't. So they're not going to remember most of the time. Secondly, I'm asking them to talk. So once they talk, then I can listen, and closers listen more than they talk. So they say, well, I don't remember sending the card. Don't worry about it. I'll bring a copy with me when I come. I'm going to be in the area Tuesday this week or Wednesday. I can open at 9:01 or 9:18. Well, is this about insurance, Mr. Jones? Did you request something about insurance? Yes, I did. Great. Then I'll make sure I can answer those questions too when I get there. Now, is 9:01 better on Tuesday or 9:08 on Wednesday? I'm going right for the appointment. The more you talk, if you say, oh, yeah, I think you checked off Medicare something. Well, what are your rates? How good is your company? How's that? You now start trying to educate and sell over the telephone, which is a long, losing, non-effective method of doing business. Just isn't on a large scale. Large scale, it's just not. So when you get your approach, build in that sentence, what did you have in mind when you sent this card back or this response card back? Ask them a question after you introduce yourself and then listen to what they're going to say. Oh, I don't think I did. Well, maybe your spouse did. Somebody who thought a lot of you probably sent the card back, but it's 5 or 6 weeks. I can't remember anything I did 2 weeks ago. So I'll bring a copy of the card. I'm going to be in your area talking with other concerned seniors about probably the same issues that you're worried about. So it's Tuesday at 9:18 or Wednesday at 9:37 better. Now, I hope you don't have a lot of questions because I don't have a lot of time because this healthcare crisis has really put me behind. I'll use those little deals like that all. And by the way, don't forget, now if I got a response card that's got a free offer on it, now don't forget to make sure I give you or enroll you in our no-cost discount prescription card. I always forget, please remind me. Or about our hearing discounts I want to share with you. Or about our dental discount program I want to show you. So if you got a card and your lead company has put a little PS at the bottom on there for a free gift, that'll increase your response rate and give you a good close at the end. So that's just a couple pointers. Now, telephone script current responders. That was basically the approach I want you to use with them. Now, let's say they're past 90 days. If they're 90 days on the postmark of that lead and was sent by mail, you cannot call them by telephone. It's illegal. But now you can go in person. So when you go in person now, the great thing about what's nice about that is that you're getting these current responders. You can go out there in person and say, hey, I've been trying to reach you. I'm Don Runting with XYZ Insurance Company. Glad I caught you home. By the way, you must be retired. I've been trying to get to you for a week or two. By the way, I just brought my card with me you sent in. What did you have in mind when you sent this card in? I show them the card. I keep a copy with me. And they look at it and they'll pull the card out of your hand saying, gee, I don't remember sending this in. Or, well, it's been a while, been 5 or 6 weeks, Mr. Jones, had a hard time getting to you. But that's okay. Most people don't remember sending it back. But once we sit down and go over some things, they remember why they did. So it's Tuesday better, Wednesday we get back together and sit down and talk. So again, you're letting them know in person that it's okay. The lead is still fresh. It's fresh. Your approach makes the lead fresh. You see, the date on the card is only for the postman. The lead, when you use your right approach, you make the card come alive again. That's what you need to do. You're an actor. You're proactive. Make the card come alive with your approach. A lot of people don't do that. They just want to argue about, well, you sent it in, all that stuff. Now, your door script. What I love about going to the door is nonverbal communication is better than 85% of communication. So when you go to the door and you actually get them there, and you say, listen, I apologize. I tried to reach you by phone. I couldn't get here any faster with the healthcare crisis. I'm behind. Mr. Jones, I brought the card with me. What did you have in mind when you sent this in? They go, oh, I don't remember. Whatever they say, that's the reason you're there. Well, I figured you wouldn't remember. It's been a while. That's why I stopped out in person. We're an old-fashioned company. We still make house calls. Do you have a minute? No, I don't. Well, I don't have one either. I work by appointment only and want to stop by to make sure you didn't think the company forgot about you. Because my company will probably call and make sure I was here. Now, I got an opening tomorrow at 9 o'clock, or I got one at Tuesday at 9:18. Which is better for you? I'll try to work you in. So what you really want to do is you got to be ready to shift that mindset. You got to be ready to make that next move. You can't be pausing and hesitating and looking for them to help you out. Because if you do, they'll say, well, that's okay. Let me see the card. I don't think that's what I wanted. Mr. Jones, if what you checked off on the card is what you wanted, you'd be one of the few people I've met over the series of my career. That's okay. Don't worry about it. We didn't give you a lot of choices. I'll cover that when we get in. So now you've got their attention. Short, simple, book it. Book it. Always give them 2 choices. Please don't say, when would you like me to get back to you? Oh, please don't do that. Don't do that. They'll tell you, I don't know, in a month, a couple months, you gotta tell them your times that you have open. You can't ask them when they're open. You gotta tell them when you're available. Because if I call somebody to do work, like I've got a construction working company, when we got the other day, I said, I can have you do it this Wednesday or this Thursday. You know what the guy was telling me on the phone? The only times I got done are Monday and Wednesday this week. It's all I got. He took control. He told me, or she told me, when they're going to see me. Now, if I can't make that, then they'll say, well, the only other time I got is next Wednesday at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's all we got. He made his time important, or she did. You have to have them respect your time and your urgency, not just their schedule. Remember, they're probably retired. You're not. So now let's switch to the past responder script. This is something that's in 90 days or older. You can work leads 8 years old, 10 years old. All you have to do is say, hey, Mr. Smith, this is Don Runge, I'm a licensed professional, XYZ company. Listen, Mr. Jones, I first of all want to apologize. I'm a little bit late getting back to you. And they go, oh, that's okay. But I got this responder card and I didn't know what you had in mind. I got it out here as soon as I got the card from the company. I know it's a little bit late. Do you remember what you had in mind? No, that's okay. It's been a while. And by the way, do you have a minute? No, I don't have a minute either. I got an opening tomorrow at 9:01 or 9:18. Now the takeaway comes in. I apologize. I took it away and I took control. Then I went to the appointment. A lot of different approaches going on here. Apology is good. Taking away is good. You can't see me. I can't see you. Hey, I'm a little bit late getting back to you. Now they don't feel bad because they didn't expect you anyway. So they don't know how late it is. I didn't have the card 6 years ago, but I got it now. You're still Don Runge living at this address. You're alive and I'm talking to you. So you got to create excuses to start conversations. It's your job. Be proactive. Hope that makes sense to you. Now, how to make direct mail profitable. You want to rework your past responders. You want to keep a file. And if they're 90 days old, 100 days old, 200 days old, all you got to go back in and pick up something to talk about that makes the lead current. Your phone call or your door knock makes the lead current. Hey, Bob, listen, I'm sorry I got back. It's been a while, so I couldn't get your card. I got it the other day. Sorry I'm a little bit late getting back. Look, I called you a little while back, and I thought, you know what? Times have changed. I want to get back to you, see if I can get those questions answered that you had. You don't say, oh, you responded in back 1997. I'm a little bit late getting back to you. You know, we've had a crisis going on. They're gonna think you lost your mind. The date stamp on the card means absolutely nothing. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just go out there and apologize that you're a little bit late getting back to them. That's all you have to do. Now, trust me with this one. Don't add a bunch of other words. So that's one way. Now, your late responder list. I don't call it a non-responder list because you mail 1,000 people. You got back 10 cards. You got 300 people approximately with phone numbers, and you got a whole bunch of them that you can't call. So the worst thing you want to do is put all those away because those are late responders. Because if we kept mailing those people, they'd eventually send the card back, but you'd be broke. So without hurting any list vendor or lead vendor, what I'm telling you to do is those are the people, the phone numbers, those are the ones you call. And they've already sent a card into somebody, so it won't make any difference. They wouldn't remember you from XYZ Insurance Company. So give yourself credit. All you have to do is be energetic. You have to have a good empathy on the phone, not sympathy. You have to make it feel like they're important and you're important, and there are things they need to know about because time is running out. And what I'm going to share with you is time sensitive. So you can work people back a year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and they're still there. The problem is nobody's probably contacted them since. They tried one time. So set up a schedule of going back to those cards. You can do it on Thanksgiving. You can do it on Christmas. You can pick out birthdays. You can make up any excuse you want. Listen to the newspaper. See what's on TV. For example, with Obamacare being changed now, if you're selling health insurance, great. You got to keep the latest updates. Take and look and find out what excuse you can make to call back that same person that might have been mailed 5 months ago, a year ago. They're still alive. They're still at that address. And they still probably have the same concerns or more between the time they sent the card in and today. Keep it in mind. It's a very fluid, moving psychology that we're using here. It's a very fluid, moving conversation. Don't think everything is finite. Just because I sent the card in, this is the only thing I have an interest in because the only box that was checked. You got to move on from that. Get over that thing. Get over that. Now, with that in mind and what we've done so far, what I'd like to do at this point is we've seen the questions, and I'll try to answer any of them that didn't get answered today for sure. But what we do is we have that 48-hour. We still have a 48-hour attendee offer today. It's good for 48 hours. It's only $69.95 for both. Now, the two programs we're giving you would be over $120, $30. So you're getting a great offer, a limited offer. It's good till 6/10/17, expires at midnight. All sales are final. Now, you're going to purchase this only through the above link. So you need to make sure you do that. And I'm going to tell you, the first one, the advanced approach, that's going to help you build leads out of your house. You'll walk in with one lead and walk out with multiple leads. You're going to love that thing. It's going to give you 4 key questions, develop referrals right at the entry point. It's going to lock down a program at the end to get back in. It's going to allow you, and the direct mail lead, how to work a direct mail lead by itself, that's the second one we're offering, and that's the CD version. And that'll go through a lot of what I covered today, but in more detail. You're going to find that that 30 or 40 minutes is well spent, because it's going to give you all the tips on how to effectively work any kind of a direct mail lead, which could be internet, which could be any kind of lead that where they actually take the interest, where they actually are proactive. So it just doesn't have to be direct mail, but it could be internet, it could be a telemarketing lead that was generated. It gives you those tips inside that. So you've got a tremendous value that you'll use for years. I will guarantee you'll more than pay for $69.95. It's a great offer. Take advantage of it. Limited offer, 48 hours. Well, folks, I wanted to be on schedule. I said we'd do about 30, 35 minutes, and we would try to do all this stuff. I want to thank you all, just like Bugs Bunny used to say. And what I need you to do too is look at the website to go to. And I want to thank Insure WebEx for helping us put this together and make this all possible. And then you can go to Facebook. You can tell us your comments on Facebook. And I always love you to go do that. That'd be fantastic. And we're always available. Go to leadguru.com. You can see every information we have there. And we now also have an academy. We have a training academy called Prospecting Academy. You can always contact me for details on that. And it's all about prospecting. And we got about 100 hours of training on video, DVD, and digital. So again, thank you. Have a great day. Great sales.